Hi, everyone. For my presentation today, I'm going to examine one of the most significant challenges facing technology leadership in K 12 education today, providing effective instructional support and professional development for educators. The COSIN report identifies many challenges facing technology leaders, including cybersecurity, data privacy, artificial intelligence, staff shortages, and budget constraints. While all of these issues are important, I believe one challenge influences the success of nearly every technology initiative, ensuring that educators have the knowledge, confidence, and support needed to use technology effectively. In my presentation, I will first discuss the broader national landscape described by COSIN and then connect those findings to my own experiences as an educational technology coordinator. Finally, I will analyze why instructional support is such a complex challenge and propose leadership strategies to address it. So, according to COSIN, today's technology leaders face a wide variety of challenges. Many of these challenges are technical in nature, such as cybersecurity threats and protecting student data. Others involve emerging technologies like artificial intelligence or financial concerns related to limited budgets and staffing shortages. However, what stood out to me in the reports is that many of these challenges ultimately involve people. Technology leaders must help educators adapt to new systems, learn new skills, and change instructional practices. Technology initiatives are no longer successful simply because a district purchases software or devices. Success depends on how effectively those tools are implemented and supported. This shift reflects a broader change in technology leadership from managing technology to leading organizational change. So, why does this matter? One theme that consistently appears in educational technology research is the difference between technology adoption and technology integration. A district can purchase devices, implement software, and provide access to digital resources. However, access alone does not guarantee meaningful use. Teachers need opportunities to learn new systems, practice using them, ask questions, and receive ongoing support. Without these structures, technology often becomes underutilized or used in ways that do not fully support teaching and learning. For this reason, I believe instructional support and professional development are among the most important responsibilities of modern technology leaders. This challenge is especially relevant in my current role as an educational technology coordinator. I know I've mentioned this several times in other presentations, but while many assume educational technology positions primarily focus on troubleshooting hardware and software, much of my work involves supporting educators and helping them effectively use technology systems. I regularly assist teachers with Canvas, PowerSchool, Google Workspace, website resources, and other district platforms. What I've learned is that many support requests are not caused by technology failures. Instead, they are often implementation challenges where educators need guidance, clarification, or additional training. This has helped me recognize how important instructional support is to the success of any technology initiative. So let's look at this from a real world example. When I recently started work with my school district, we had a Canvas security breach. This ended up showing a lot of issues that we had involving Canvas and PowerSchool integration. Since arriving, I've worked with numerous teachers who were frustrated with their gradebooks and how gradebooks were being calculated. Many educators told me that they received limited training on how to use the product, particularly how to assign PowerSchool groups as well as Canvas groups and connect them together to create the categories. As a result, teachers were unsure how to configure their courses correctly, which led to concerns about grade calculation and report cards, leading up to our graduations, and a lot of seniors were directly impacted by this. While all the systems themselves were functioning properly, the challenge was not technical. Instead, teachers needed instructional support, coaching, and opportunities to build confidence using the tools. In response, I have begun creating training materials, step-by-step guides, and video resources to help staff better understand the systems, and in working with campus leadership to ensure some time during back to school to do as in-depth but quick of a training as I can to reiterate the expectations of Canvas and PowerSchool gradebooks and categories. We have a lot of new teachers coming in. They're going to need that strong foundation, but I'm seeing a lot of veteran teachers also stating that they need some back to basics on understanding. Ultimately, this experience has reinforced the idea that successful implementation depends on professional learning rather than just the technology alone. Instructional support is a complex leadership challenge because it involves multiple dimensions simultaneously. There is certainly a technical component. Technology leaders must understand how systems interact and function. However, instructional support also involves teacher readiness, professional learning design, communication, and change management. Tech leaders must recognize that educators enter this profession with different experiences and comfort levels regarding technology. Some staff members may be early adopters, while others are going to require more time and support. We have to meet the variety of needs. This is where implementing pathways to tech professional development would be a really good way to start, because then the teachers can essentially pick their own story and create the professional development that works for their needs. Additionally, districts often face staffing and budget constraints that make it difficult to provide individualized support to every educator. If we could create a level system where if you have basic understanding, you can take this path, moderate, take this path, or advanced, you can take this path. While it's not 100% individualized, it can cater to a wider variety of educators. Ultimately, because of these factors, instructional support requires strategic leadership rather than simple technical expertise. Ultimately, there are several factors contributing to this challenge and why it's still persisting in education. One common issue is that professional development is often treated as a one-time event rather than an ongoing process. Teachers may attend a training session at the beginning of the year, but without continued support, much of that learning can be difficult to sustain, especially if it's for a process that they may only do a few times a year. Technology is also constantly evolving. New features, tools, and expectations emerge regularly, requiring educators to continuously adapt. At the same time, teachers already manage significant responsibilities related to instruction, assessment, communication, and student support. Finding time for technology learning can be difficult. These factors create an environment where technology implementation requires ongoing leadership and support, and finding ways where teachers can access trainings in a more flexible way. One thing I really want educators and leadership to understand is that instructional support affects every stakeholder in a school system. Teachers need confidence and skills to use the technology effectively. Students ultimately benefit when technology enhances learning experiences rather than creating confusion. Administrators rely on consistent implementation across classroom and campuses to ensure equity for all of our students. Families often depend on technology for communication and access to information. And technology leaders must balance the needs of all of these groups while creating systems that are sustainable and scalable. Ultimately, all of these areas, they need a coach. not a technician, not somebody who's going to be very just this is the steps and here you go and go on about your day. Somebody who's there to, when something goes wrong in those steps, help them troubleshoot, help them find ways of making this easier access for them, ways to incorporate this into their lessons in an effective way that they may not be thinking of when they're just trying to understand their content. Every area of education is impacted by technology, and we need to make sure that the instructional support is easily accessible to all stakeholders. So, when I was looking at this, I wanted to address those challenges and how we could respond to them as instructional leaders in our districts. Ultimately, technology leaders can address these challenges through several strategies. First being professional learning should be continuous rather than limited to isolated workshops. This could be web series after a training to help continue support, little quick check-ins with teachers through lunch and learns or faculty meetings, just to make sure that what they learned in the beginning is still being implemented and that there are no questions. Second, support should be embedded into daily practice whenever possible. Teachers often learn best when support is connected directly to their classroom needs. Third, districts can build internal capacity by developing teacher leaders who serve as technology champions within their schools. This is one thing that I have already talked to my leadership team with, is getting into the classrooms, seeing which teachers are really standing out when it regards technology implementation, using those resources to help build relationships with the other teachers in our district, champion those teachers that are doing really well so other teachers could see how effective the use of technology is, and build that continuous process. Help these teachers that are doing really well lead their own professional developments, create their own little trainings so that we can continue that learning together. Technology leaders should also create resources such as videos, manuals, and quick reference guides that educators can access whenever they need assistance. This goes back to what I said at the beginning of, after the isolated workshops, having continuous accessibility. I created a Google site that's embedded within our district website where teachers can go get training manuals, quick guides, videos, links to troubleshooting on the platform's websites, anything that they could possibly need for help and support would be there. And if there isn't something there, they can request a training or some kind of support that I can build on the back end for them. Finally, maintaining open communication and gathering feedback allows leaders to continuously improve support systems. Ultimately, our role is to build capacity, support learning, and create conditions for success. And I believe that these responses are a good way to start building that environment. So, how are we going to, as technology leaders, determine whether our supports are effective? I believe success can be measured through a couple of different avenues, this being surveys, teacher feedback, support ticket trends, classroom observations, and implementation data. One indicator that I focus on is teacher confidence, at least in the beginning. When educators feel comfortable using technology, they are more likely to explore innovative instructional practices and troubleshoot minor issues independently. Ultimately, the goal is not simply increasing technology usage. The goal is improving teaching and learning through effective technology integration. Starting with that confidence building would then lead to other data outlets such as MCAS scores, student retention of information, and other platforms that we can use to ensure that students are benefiting from these practices and that it's not just being used as a replacement to just get through the day. So, to bring this all together, my recommendation is that districts develop what I would describe as a technology learning ecosystem. Rather than viewing professional development as a single event, districts should create interconnected systems of support. This ecosystem should include initial training, coaching opportunities, office hours, accessible resources, teacher leaders, and continuous feedback mechanisms. By creating multiple pathways for learning and support, technology leaders can build capacity across the organization and reduce dependence on a single individual or department. In conclusion, instructional support and professional development represent one of the most significant challenges facing technology leaders today. While technology systems continue to grow more powerful, their success ultimately depends on the people who use them. The role of technology leadership has expanded far beyond troubleshooting and device management. Today's leaders must build capacity, support organizational change, and create learning opportunities that help educators use technology effectively. As schools continue to invest in digital tools and systems, tech leaders must remember that successful implementation is not primarily a technology problem. It's a people problem that requires thoughtful leadership, ongoing support, and commitment to continuous learning. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. My references are on the next slide. Thank you.